Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about another tropical update here. Before we start today's video, hopefully you guys like and subscribe, please, to the channel. I don't know how much I'm going to be uploading this week, because I might go to the doctor, so I have no idea how much I'll be able to upload this week, but hopefully I can upload quite a bit. But here's the thumbnail of the video, and also comments are off until October 10th now. So yeah, by the way, I didn't say in the last video, so let's get right to the tropics now. 2-day graphical weather outlook. There's nothing going on in the tropics at this moment, or in the next 48 hours at least. Nothing going to be going on here in this area here. But now we have a new disturbance that just formed in this region here, because this region will start getting some storms here in this region. The other day we had a video on my hurricane outlook for October. If you haven't to see that video, go see it now. But this video this disturbance has a 30% chance of development in the next 5 days. The next update will be at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central. We'll be able to see if this upgrades, downgrades, or any of that, but it has not developed yet, so that's the good news. But it's supposed to develop in the next 5 days, so I'm gonna have to watch this very closely. Let's look at this other storm here. This is the Eastern Pacific. This is in. This disturbance has a 90% chance. I just wanted to look at it real quick and show you this storm here. Okay, let's look at the overall rest of the hurricane season. See, this was the 25th, a few days ago. We're going to fast forward to the 28th. That is today, or the time I'm recording this video. And we have reds in the Gulf. We have reds in this area here too, where there is a storm supposed to develop. So interesting. Let's go to the 29th of September. That is tomorrow. This is about tomorrow. There's still reds in the Atlantic, in the Gulf, and all that. Not that favorable conditions. Red mean not as favorable. Green means favorable. And then we're gonna go toward later into Wednesday. We're seeing some of those reds clear out for this area here. In October 5th, that's next Monday, we see a little bit of greens in between there, so I have to watch that. And let's go to October 9th. We see reds, but not as many as there is now. So it's going to be getting way more possible favorable. Even though there's no greens, it's still going to be favorable in the white. Good thing there's no greens, because if there's greens, that's rising air. And rising air would be bad, because that would bring possibly a bad rest of the hurricane season. Luckily right now it says no really that many greens on here showing, but there's still a possibility. Let's look at the temperature anomalies of the Atlantic and all that, and warm for most of this area here, cold for some of the Gulf and some of those areas. So yeah, let's look at zoomed in on this area. We see a lot of warm temperatures for this area, so that means it's going to be favorable for storms to develop. Where that one storm is, it'll be able to develop in that warm air. If it heads toward this region of the United States, it could weaken with that cold temperatures, but yeah. Also, the other thing we need to look at for tropical systems is shear, because shear is one of the most things you want to look at, because tropical systems do not like shear. And we're seeing no shear for a few days ago. There was no shear really in the Gulf. It would have been the perfect time. No shear, where the storm's going to develop in a couple of days. So let's go fast forward to today, September 28th, at least when I'm recording this video. We see not that much shear in the Gulf. Red means there's a lot of shear. It doesn't show much shear. There is quite a bit of shear in this area here, but not like those reds, so that means it's not the most shear. Let's go a few more days. Let's go to the 30th. And we're seeing some of those reds in the Gulf. That means it's going to be not that favorable for tropical systems to move into. But we see no shear in this area where the storm's supposed to develop in. So that's bad news. But it's good news for the United States, because if it goes into the shear, it should weaken and it shouldn't have as favorable of a time to develop into a strong storm with this shear it's showing. Let's go fast forward a few days. This shear starts to weaken a little bit, so that means that if this storm moves up toward this area, it could develop. There's a little bit of shear, if so, but not as much as this area up here is. It's going to be really unfavorable for tropical system. They could go up toward this area, but they're going to weaken if so. If they head toward that region, shear, or the bottom of Florida, that is favorable too. Let's go a little bit fast forward into near October 2nd, and you see most of the Gulf has shear possible right in this area here. That means it's going to be probably not favorable for systems to come into that area, but systems can go on a track like this, could impact go like a track kind of like that or something like that. A track could be like, or it still could go into shear, but it wouldn't be as strong of a storm when it gets in the shear and move up like that way. It wouldn't be as favorable, but still there's could still move into the shear area, and this could always change too. Let's go a few more days, and we're looking at October 3rd, next Saturday, and we see really the whole Gulf is mainly in the shear, most up here, so that means really storms will weaken if they try impacting the U.S. If they at the bottom part of Florida, that's where it could be the strongest, but mainly really not going to impact the U.S. that much, or the strongest part of the storms won't with the shear. And then we continue on toward October 5th. You see some of that shear kind of in this area. This area is kind of having less shear, so storms could move into this area. There's still shear in this area, so there's still possibility of it's still weakening. But let's move on toward Tuesday, October 6th. And we see some of that shear moves trying to move out of the Gulf. That means storms could develop around this region. And Florida would be, the bottom of Florida here would be a spot where one of those storms could be strong, move into that area, and wouldn't really weaken unless if it moved more into northern Florida. Now we're looking at around October 7th here, and we're seeing most of the Gulf now has less shear than it did. So this would be the time where most systems should come in, or like systems like we wouldn't want to see this if we do. We really don't want to see this, because like tropical systems can come in here and strengthen up. And then when it gets closer to like Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, any of those areas, those weaken because they're shear, but still in the Gulf it could strengthen into a strong storm. So that could be some bad news going into October 7th. Then we're fasting forward to around next Friday, October 9th, or not next Friday, the Friday after that. And we're seeing more shear, but this could always change because this is too far out to say. But we're seeing more shear in the Gulf, but this part of the Gulf is not seeing much shear though. So I got to watch this closely. Let's go around the end of this model run. This is about the end of the model run. I will look at the end of the model run in a minute. We're seeing much of the Gulf back in the red, so that's some good news for the tropical development, because there won't be as much with that shear. We're gonna go to the end of the mile run, and here's the end of the mile run. Looks like it's not going to be favorable for tropical development whenever we get near October 13th. So that is some good news for or to lessen some of that tropical or those stronger storms to come in, like Laura. It's not going to be as favorable. So unless if it somehow strengthens, and if it develops in the main development region and turns into a strong, like Cat 4, Cat 5, and moves into the shear, it'd probably be around Cat 2 or Cat 1 whenever it hit like Texas, Louisiana, or whatever. So that's the good news whenever it's this time, but I'm worried about whenever it's October 7th, near October 7th, where there's during that time there is possible strengthening during that time. So we're going to have to watch that closely. But thank you though, guys, for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I wanted to make an update on the tropics again, because I saw this today and I decided to make a video about it. Hopefully there's no more as strong of storms as there been, but it's still possible that could. Maybe some of that shear, maybe this shear won't even affect the storm. I don't know. But thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.